Well, hi there, everyone, and a happy new year to you all. Of course, being the very first video of the year of 2025, so I thought it's still okay to say that. Yeah, so I thought I'd do a little update video like I did once before. I think you can watch it here, I think. And just simply to talk a little bit about what happened in terms of film photography the last couple of weeks. Well, I did not photograph as much as I maybe liked. I don't know how it was in your last 2 months, but like change of the year, Christmas time, all that kind of stuff is always a little bit of family stuff, and it was nice. It was beautiful. Had a good time, but also quite busy. But still, there were some changes in the last months, and the most interesting things, there are some that I want to talk a little bit about. So, what has happened? I think the most important thing that happened was that I've got a new system for digitalizing my negatives. Before, you see me already you've seen me using it on the channel. So before I got the one that I will show you right now, I used the digitalizer from lomography, and it worked. Don't get me wrong. It's good for the money, definitely. It's great value for the money, especially if you sort of are in the beginning of. I start to develop my own film and sort of. So that is a very, very good starting point. But finally, after some months and months of waiting, I've invested in the Valois system. So I've got basically the whole system and accessories and different masks and all of that kind of stuff. And also for 120 as well. And I can tell you, oh my goodness, it is such a good investment. There are very minor things that are bugging me a little bit about the Valois 360 system, but this is really minor stuff. But the big thing, the big takeaway basically that I've got from this system is that, oh my goodness, it's so, in this whole of situation around digitalizing your negatives, it's all about the light source. Jeez. And what a difference it makes, so in here there's the CS light from Cinestill, and I think you can get it for around like 40 to 45 euros. And on there I also got these light enhancement sheets basically they are two Fresnel lenses, two very thin sheets of plastic, and if you combine them and tape it down to the light source, it gets much brighter because the light gets more concentrated. So I've got that on top as well, and it really makes a huge difference to especially the light source that was installed or is installed in the lomography digitalizer. That is so, it's not as bright. Your shutter speeds will be a lot higher, obviously, because the light is less intense, but also the ability to switch between cold light, white light, and warm light really changes up the white balance and made it easier for me to work on the files afterwards in Lightroom. So a very, very, very big change, and it is so nice to use this system. It's just a lot easier, to be honest. And just simply nicer to do. It's a lot. You have to pay a lot more for that, of course, but it's nice. It's beautiful. and I'm really going to enjoy working with the Valois in the future. So what else changed, or what else is new? Actually, I can show it to you in the background on my Sinar. So if I grab this one right here. So new is this lens right here. So I've got a wide angle lens for my Sinar. And it is a lens with a built-in shutter. My thought was that I can reduce the weight of my Sinar by not using the behind the lens shutter, the DB shutter, just simply to cramp it more and make it a little bit easier to carry. And what I really wanted to get was a slight wide angle, so something like a 28mm or 35mm lens on 35mm film. And what I ended up, after some research and looking at different lenses, so I ended up getting a 90mm. So this is like a 30mm on 35mm film. So it sits just between 28 and 35mm. And that is, I love this focal length, because I love 28 and I love 35. So I thought, well, 30 must be quite good. And after I was sure that I want to pick up a 90mm, I was looking at the different options. Obviously, there are a lot of different options to choose from. So what I got in the end is from Rodenstock. And it's a Gridlock N, so the little bit newer version, a little bit better coatings, I think. But the difference, from what I've seen, are not very big between the non-N and the N version. But anyways, and it is the 90mm f6.8. There are versions out there which have not the 6.8 at the widest aperture, but actually go down to f5.6, or even go as low as 4.5 as the widest aperture. And of course, I thought, oh, it would be beautiful to have such a wide aperture, mostly because it's easier to look at the matte screen, so it's easier to compose because everything is brighter. Obviously, especially if you work in sort of dimmed lighting conditions, or if the light is running out, it's easier to compose and focus with the lens that gives you a brighter aperture. But, and this one comes with a very, very big but in my mind, the problem is, and this is also the reason why I ended up choosing this Gridlock right here, so the 6.8 version, is simply down to the filter size and the size of the lens and the weight of the lens. So the problem is that even the f5.6 version, it's the Schneider Super Anglogon, I think. Is it the Anglogon? Oh, anyway, so there is a 90mm f5.6 out there, I think from Schneider. And just like the f4.5 Gridlock versions that exist from this lens, they are huge, and they've got an 82, I think 82 or 87, 82, I think 82mm filter thread. Oh my god. So that is very, very bad, because obviously so huge filters, if you want to get good filters for them, a very good yellow filter, red filter for shooting black and white, or if you want to shoot in color, have some gradation filter, something like that. They are super duper expensive to get a good filter set in that sort of size, and the lens itself is very heavy and very big. So I ended up settling on the 6.8 version because I think it really is a sweet spot. The lens is quite small and it's not heavy at all, and it's got a 68 I think 86, no, the other way around, 68 mil filter thread. So yeah, quite reasonable, I think. Yeah, so this is a change. I shot this lens now twice, I think. I didn't have the time in the last, as I mentioned, in the last 2 months really to go take the Sinar out for a ride, sadly, but I'm going to do it more in the future, and I'm really going to enjoy shooting with this Grander gun. Yeah, because it's a lovely lens. Have a Copal Zero shutter on here as well. Yeah, quite lovely. So this is a new thing as well. And what I want to do as well is to share some pictures with you. And the pictures are from my Rolleiflex. So with this combination, I did not shoot for quite some months with my Rolleiflex because I was focusing more on the Sinar, and it was just standing there, and I was feeling like, oh well, maybe it's time again to shoot some with the Rolleiflex. So I loaded up some HP5, and in the beginning I started shooting it with combined with orange filter, and I thought, well, that is going to be a good idea. The HP5 isn't contrasty enough to start with, so let's use a yellow filter, an orange filter. So I've took some shots with that, and after that I switched to this blue filter, which I never shot. I never shot a blue filter on black and white, but it was very cloudy, very hazy, and as far as I know, a blue filter is sort of able to enhance that. And I've took some shots, and especially 2 shots from this roll of HP5. I will show you some of the pictures right now, and especially 2 of those. So this one and this one, I'm going to definitely print them out in the darkroom because I quite like them. One of them I'm going to print. I plan on printing it somewhat larger. Yeah, so I had a blast shooting again with the Rolleiflex. And what happened as well? I've got something in terms of stuff that happens, stuff that is new for my darkroom. Not really a change, a big change, but I was quite lucky to get an easel, I think is the term. I don't. It's a little bit hard for me to say. So something to have your photo paper lay flat underneath the enlarger. Easel. Well, anyways, so I've really was quite lucky to get one at, I think I paid like 20 or 25 euros with shipping, so it was basically like a present. Yeah, basically like a little gift, and I was quite lucky because it's an original Dunko easel, and it works beautifully. I can show you a picture of it. So yeah, that is new as well. And the other thing, I'm planning on using it in the darkroom work in the future. And the next stuff that also happened quite some weeks ago actually, but it was quite funny. I don't know if you saw the last video from Analog Insights. If you haven't, go and watch it. It's quite lovely, and it is about a very specific Minolta lens, and it is about this 28mm 2.8 from Minolta. And I found it super funny because I was watching the video of Analog Insights and seeing him talking about this Minolta and using this 28 on the black Minolta XD7 of his father. And I was sitting there down in my chair and looking up and looking at my Minolta XD7 that I was gifted. And I've received this 28mm, and it is exactly the very last version that he is reviewing on his channel. I found that quite funny, and this is a very nice combination. So on here there's the last of them of the 50mm of 1.4 force, obviously a beautiful lens, standard lens, but it's nice to use, and this 28 is also quite nice. And I've shot this combination only once, but I really enjoy the camera. I like how this XD7 feels. It's a classic. It's a classic, but it is definitely a beautiful camera. Love it. And I think this sort of covers it. I'm very interested at the moment in my Olympus OM4. At the moment, right here, there is a Portra 800 inside. Oh, this boy must have found some gold. Well, I was gifted a roll of Portra, and the other day, when it was quite cold right here, and everything was frozen, and I was going with my dog into the forest, a little way from here, and everything looked so beautiful. It truly was magical. There was some mist in the air, and for multiple days there was mist in the air, but at the same time it was so cold that all of that misty and haziness got stuck to the trees and froze, and then it built up, and after some days the entire forest was white, and everything everything when you looked around yourself sort of looked magical, and I really felt like watching Frozen, you know. Do you want to build a snowman? And I was just simply walking through the forest with my Olympus and sort of taking shots of that. And I was very lucky because the day when I've had the 3 lenses that I own for my Olympus, so the 28 f2.8 that is filming me at the moment on my Lumix, I've had this with me, the 50 f1.4 and my 90mm f2 that is standing up there. So these 3 lenses and my Olympus combined with 1 roll of Portra 800, and I think I've got like 7 shots left or something like that, and I'm very keen on seeing these pictures once I've developed it. Yeah, on the topic of developing film, finally, and that is also something that I want to talk a little bit about, I think the next video that I'm going to do on this channel, I'm not gonna do in English language, but rather talking in German to you all. And the simple reason is because I want to talk a little bit about the 2 new developers from ADOX. So if you want to get photochemicals here in Germany, one of the biggest suppliers is Photo Impacts. They are sitting in Berlin, and they have a collaboration with ADOX. And ADOX, probably you all heard of Tetinal, which was the company, I think, with the longest history, or sort of, maybe not the very longest history, but definitely one of them. Has a very rich history in Germany, to produce photochemicals, and they got bankrupt, and then again it was sort of back and forth. And now, some months ago, you can watch, I think it was also in the news on Nico's photography show. So if you don't know Nico's photography show, definitely go watch it. So Tetanol now is finally bankrupt, and then Adox, and if you were hearing closely, you could hear that Adox sort of bought some of the recipes and all of that from Tetanol, and shortly after that they came out with a new developer set for C41 and E6, and this sort of is quite a deal. And I tried both of them. I tried the C41 developer. The last C41 films that I've developed were all developed with this kit. And also I've tried the E6 kit as well. And I want to talk a little bit about that. And I think it will appeal mostly to the German audience, so I'm going to make a video in German. Anyways, and in that video I can show the shots. Maybe you've seen my video about the shooting with my Sinar for the very first time, and in that video I also took some shots with Fuji slide film and on 4x5. And I had no chemicals to develop it for quite some weeks, and then I've got this E6 kit from Adox. Actually, a friend of mine, Nico, bought it, I think, or did I bought it myself? I don't know again. But anyways, so I've developed the shots, and they are beautiful. Honestly, if you never held a 4x5 inch positive in your hand, it's crazy. It is crazy. It looks so beautiful. You hold it in your hand, and if you hold it in front of a light source, it's like, I don't know, it's a little window into another world somehow, and it really feels so nice, the depth of shadows and all of that. Anyways, I'm starting to ramble. I mean, the whole video is a ramble, but anyways. So, yeah, my next video, I plan to do it in German. But anyways, I think there's are the points, yeah. If I missed something, then it is what it is. I also bought a roll of Lomochrome Purple at the change of the year, and I'm very interested in shooting it and developing it afterwards and seeing the results. Lomochrome Purple, I've seen some beautiful shots taken with that film. Yeah, so I would say that's a wrap. At least I will show you in the end of this video, I will show you the shots, the E6 shots that I've taken with my Sinar in that video that I could not share before. I will put them at the end of this video. Anyways, so if you really stuck around until now, thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and cheers.